Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Today's video we're going to have some Division 20 online gameplay using Calvin Kattar, and this is for the UFC fight night this weekend coming up. So Calvin Kattar is going to be fighting Max Holloway as the main event, and this is a very interesting fight for the featherweight division right now, because obviously you've got Calvin Kattar coming from 2 wins. Last fight was against Ig in a 5-round main event and he beat him, and then you've got his fight before that, Jeremy Stevens, which he finished in emphatic style with the elbow, which was a ridiculous finish. And with Calvin Kattar, you're talking about the best boxer arguably right now within the UFC. So when I'm using him online, I'm going to be trying to mirror his style in real life, and this fight against Holloway is going to be his biggest test. A lot of people believe that Holloway beat Volkanovski in his second fight, me being one of those people. So this really, if he can beat Holloway, it's going to speak volumes. And obviously you've got Volkanovski is going to be fighting Brian Ortega. I think he's next in line for the title shot, and then we'll see what happens with the division. So speaking about Calvin Kattar, we know his reach is 72 inches, and he fights from an orthodox stance, with his record being 22-4. Most of his wins, I believe 11, come from KO and TKO, and there's 2 submissions, with the rest being decisions. He has a 42 strike percentage accuracy, 78% takedown defense, 77% of his significant strikes are to the head, and 56% significant strike defense. So one stat I want to look at there is his 77% significant strikes are headshots. So when he's throwing his significant strikes, 70% of those strikes are aiming for the opponent's head. And I believe this is really important, because going into the Max Holloway fight, Holloway has never been dropped. He's been hurt really bad, but he's never been dropped. But this damage is going to take a toll, because over the last couple of fights, if you look at the Dustin fight and the fights he's had all throughout his career, I believe I saw a stat the other day online that he's taken the second most headshots in the UFC, I think 938. And obviously we know that over time these shots start affecting the fighters. So with Calvin Kattar, most of his 70% of his significant strikes going to the head, that could play a big factor in the fight, I believe. Because the way I'm seeing it as a fight fan is, Calvin Kattar, if he wants to win the fight, although we've seen in his last fight that he can go 5 rounds, I think if he wants to beat Max Holloway, his best bet would be to win it before round 3. And obviously he has the tools to do that, he has the credentials. I mean, right now it's hard to argue there's a better boxer in the UFC than Calvin Kattar. His boxing is completely on another level. And the next best boxer I'd say closest to that is Cody Garbrandt. So if he wants to beat Max, he's going to have to be in that pocket, and he's going to have to trade with him. I mean, one thing we know is that Max Holloway doesn't have the most powerful punches, so with Calvin Kattar's boxing ability, I'm sure that's something he would like, those open exchanges. I think that favours him more. But what he wouldn't want is Max to turn this into a kickboxing fight and use, because obviously Max is rangy, he'll probably want to keep the fight at a distance, obviously because Calvin's boxing so good. Now we can see that he's transitioned to MMA really well, because obviously he's not just with his boxing, he's now throwing elbows. I mean, that elbow throw against Jeremy Stevens is probably top 3 elbows I've ever seen in the UFC, so he's got the ability to throw strikes like that. And another important stat, I'd say, he's got a 78% takedown defense. So if Max Holloway does go for a takedown, based off the stats that we've had from previous fights, he's got a relatively high chance of stuffing it. But obviously we know we haven't seen much of his ground game, but based off how much I've seen of Max Holloway, I'm sure that's an area Max Holloway will probably be better in. So it's going to be an interesting fight nonetheless. It's going to be hard to make a prediction for this one, but like I was saying, I believe that if it goes past 3 rounds, it's Max Holloway's fight to win. If I was Calvin Kattar going into the fight, I'd want to look to exchange in close proximity. I'd want to use my boxing, predominantly go for headshots, but work his body as well, because we know Max has a good gas tank. and maybe throw the leg kicks, which is what I think Max is going to try to do throughout the fight to stop him moving in and out of the pocket so good. So yeah, overall I'm expecting this to be an amazing fight, and with just looking at Max Holloway's resume, if Calvin Kattar can beat him, especially if he finishes him, the featherweight division is going to get that much more exciting. Obviously, Calvin Kattar, some of his losses in the UFC have come to fighters such as Zabit and Moicano, which are two very good fighters. But if you take the Zabit loss, for instance, if that was a 5-round fight, he beat Zabit because Zabit was gassing towards the end. So, and then we've seen in his last main event that he went the 5 rounds. So he's got the gas tank in him. So don't get it twisted when I'm saying that I believe he needs to win in the first 3 rounds. That he doesn't have a gas tank. He does. He's got very good endurance, and he's shown that. I mean, that round 3 against Zabit, if that was a 5-round fight, he's 100% winning that fight. And Zabit's seen as the scariest fighter in that division. So he's coming off of 2 wins. Max is coming off against 2 losses. So the momentum's on his side, and we're going to see what happens. I just think that Max Holloway's taken a lot of damage throughout the years, especially to his head. I mean, he's absorbed so many headshots, and I think that Calvin not only has the power, but his precision and his timing. I think it's only a matter of time throughout the fight before he catches him, and I think he could catch him early. So that's what I try to do. So the fight on screen now, you've got me facing a Max Holloway, and I'm trying to take a steady approach to the fight. So I'm throwing my jab, I'm occasionally throwing the leg kicks just to mix it up, but I was trying to keep it boxing orientated, boxing heavy, using head movement, and I believe I tried sneaking a couple elbows just to give a glance at the Jeremy Stephens fight. So my opponent's doing a decent job, but the more I'm implementing my game plan well, trying not to take too many strikes, and when we go into that boxing range, I'm trying to unload 3-piece combinations, and I'm trying to work the head, work the body, and like I said, occasionally go for the leg kick. So as you can see, I'm being patient, which is one thing I feel like Calvin's going to need to do in the fight, is be patient, not let the moment get to him, the adrenaline get to him, and flood Max Holloway, because we know Max Holloway has amazing stamina. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to pick my shots, I'm trying to make it a clean boxing fight, using my head movement to make this Max Holloway miss and therefore lose stamina. So that's what I'm trying to do here. So as you can see, when he gets into the pocket, I'm trying to do these exchanges of damage and then leave the pocket. I absorb a good body kick there, and then he hits me with the left hook to the body. And as you can see, I'm trying to use my head movement as much as possible to get out of the strike. So my leg kicks are adding up now, which is leading to a stun to his lead leg, which then gets the drop. So I don't really want to go on the ground. I'm not looking to do that. So I'm trying to come in and out of the pocket here. He's had to switch stance because obviously his lead leg was jacked. So 14 seconds left in this round. I've got the stun to the leg. It's looking like my round at the moment. My opponent's trying to pressure me towards the cage, and that closes off round 2. So this was actually, believe it or not, my first time using Calvin Kattar, and I had a look at his perks beforehand. He's got the hooks perks and they're made of carved of wood, and I was just looking to see what his best attributes were, and obviously, you know, he's obviously a good boxer, so that's what I was trying to stick to. I wasn't really trying to test his ground game, and I was throwing the leg kicks every now and then just to throw my opponent off, and it turns out that the leg kicks were actually a useful tool in this fight, so I was throwing them more often than I expected. So I wasn't sure how good his chin health was in the actual fight, his leg health, but he was actually really fun to use. Obviously in this division, online, you come up against Max, Jose, and Volkanovski mainly. I've very rarely come up against Calvin, just because most of the time when I do, I just try to take him to the ground. But after using him, I'd say he's the top 3 fighters in the division, I'd say. Or arguably at least top 4. It's a very stacked division in terms of online, and obviously Volkanovski, I'd say, is the best fighter in that division. Then Max Holloway. Then probably Zabit, if used correctly. Calvin Kattar, then Jose Aldo. So yeah, I was very, very impressed. After this fight, I think I went on a 2, 3, 4 fight win streak using Calvin and just really getting to know how the fighter feels and his combos, and he felt really clean. I mean, if you want to work on your boxing, this is one fighter I'd pick in this division and just practice pure boxing. And his head movement's amazing. The way his punches flow are very, very good. I'd compare him to Cody on this game. He's just got less power than Cody. So here my opponent misses a kick and I catch him at the drop. So again, I'm staying patient, not rushing things. And now that I know I've got him hurt, and he switched back to that lead leg that I've hurt earlier as well. So that shows me he's not really comfortable fighting out the other stance. So right now I'm in a good position in this fight. I'm moving well, I haven't taken too much damage, and my opponent's throwing strikes now that, because I'm managing my distance well, they're just not landing. And the one thing you want to do is if your opponent's throwing strikes and they're not landing, when they don't land, you want to punish them. So as you can see here, my opponent this round is taking quite a lot of punishment. He's throwing rash kicks now. Let's see if he can just get a rock or a knockdown. So I'm keeping my distance and I'm trying to remain calm, use my boxing. I get the beautiful knockdown there. I mean, that was perfect. And again, I'm just using my jab. That's one of my main tools that I'm using. Take it to the ground. I saw his stamina was low, so I jumped on top just to do some ground and pound. I mean, if you look at the clock, I believe there's 20 seconds left, so I'm not too worried about these exchanges. I mean, if he gets on top of me, he's going to have around 10 seconds to work with, so it's not the end of the world. I just got on top to get my few shots off to the body, weaken his body, and it will look good on the scorecard. So that was a very dominating round. My game plan's working very well. I mean, the number one mistake my opponent's trying to make is trying to box with me, which isn't going to work. I mean, Calvin, his boxing on this game is phenomenal, just like in real life. So you don't want to look for those exchanges. You want to keep it at kicking range, or you want to take him to the ground, which my opponent just hadn't been able to do. I believe he shot for a takedown in round 1, but ever since then, other than that, I don't remember him shoot for a takedown. So as this fight is now round 4, I know he's taken a significant amount of damage, and I'm feeling very confident that if I don't finish it this round, I'll finish it the next. And I know that if it goes to decision, just based off the way I've been fighting, that I'm fairly confident I'll get the win. And this round he started doing the jabs to the body and then the hooks to the head, which was a good adjustment because he was catching me. Again, his managing distance wasn't great, so he gets hit, he gets dropped, and now he's taking a lot of damage, and I don't want to get onto the ground because there's a lot of time to work with. And now he's against the cage, it's my favourite position, and I hit him with that beautiful elbow. So I was inspired off that Jeremy Stevens elbow. And elbows aren't really used a lot in this game, but with Calvin I tried to throw them in there. As you see, I tried sneaking another one. And my opponent's health now is really low. I mean, his stamina's gone as well, so I know that it's only a matter of time before I finish him. I'm hitting him to the body too because he's out of range with the kick, and I hit him with a hook, and it's just a beautiful knockout finish. So overall, my thoughts on the fight in real life, I think Calvin would probably need to finish him in the first 3. If it goes to 5, he has a chance, but just based on my prediction, I think he should, if he wants to win the fight, he should take it in the first 3. So yeah, this was a beautiful knockout by Calvin Kattar. The scorecards are going to be coming up now, so you can see how the rounds were scored and the stats. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to have the Max Holloway video out tomorrow. Please like, comment and subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.